Please leave your message for mailbox is full. To send an SMS notification.
Hey guys, good morning. So as you can see, it's a somewhat rainy day in Fondren. And I had an appointment scheduled this morning, and I figured I would talk about this because it comes up. So let's go over here and try it one more time. And what I'm doing here is pointing out the call before you go policy. So let's try this one more time. This appointment was set up for between 8 and 8:30 and 9, and it is 9:15 now. Let's try this one more time.
Please leave your message for mailbox is full. To send an SMS notification, press 5.
So, as we can see, he is still not answering the phone. So, on that note, I figured I would talk about calling before you go to an appointment. So, who likes wasting their time? Me, said nobody ever. When appointments schedule for a certain time, we've always said we're going to call you 15 or 20 minutes before we get there. Most people, if they have to leave from work or something else and they need to, might have a fluctuation, we always call before we go out to the house. Every so often people have said, okay, well, I may not hear my phone, so just come on. In those circumstances, when we've just went on, almost always they were not there and either tried to reschedule or just did not, ever call back. And it is a waste of your time and your gas. So for an extremely short video, I just would like to point out, since it is happening right here, to never ever not go to a call that you have a schedule for without first contacting the person. That person could have gotten somebody else to do it. That person could have done it on their own. They could have changed their mind, especially if it's the next day. They could have forgotten about the appointment. Whatever the case is, you are going to be burnt on your time and your gas going. This particular call was like 15 miles that way. So if I drove over there right now, then, that's 15 minutes back. That's 30 minutes wasted, a few bucks in gas, when I could have been doing stuff around here, keeping the shop open. So it's very important to make sure that you notify people who call to schedule appointments that you will call them prior to going out, and that you're not gonna just go over there without calling, because you don't want to waste your time, your gas, when you could be doing something else by going to the call, which kind of falls right along on the lines with going to car unlocks. As we all know, it's always been a foot race. People will order a pizza from one store and wait for the pizza. People do not order from 5 different pizza places and then pay the person who shows up first. That's not how it works, but people feel like that they can do that with locksmith companies. You can't do that with locksmith companies, because you're wasting, even though you're panicked, locked out of a car, whatever. This one is just a repair on a house or lost keys or something. But we long ago, in almost all cases, require a credit card payment up front, just like a hotel would to book a room, or any other restaurants where you have a special occasion like a holiday and they require credit card payment to hold your table, because if you don't show up, they have an empty table. So a lot of people feel like that they can call numerous locksmiths and whoever gets there first wins. That's not the case. If you're one of those people that like doing that, then or you know, do that, then more power to you. You know, if you get to a job and there's another locksmith there, or you both arrive simultaneously, you need to convince the customer that he should be paying both people. Now, there are locksmiths. There's one particular locksmith in town where we did that happen. I didn't take the credit card up front because it was kind of close by, and I went over there. We showed up at the same time. I had just started working on the car. This other dude doesn't say anything and waddles his way over to the car and starts working on the other door. And the customer was like, "Oh, well, yeah, this guy's cheaper, so I'm just going to let him do it." And I looked at the guy who has been around for a long time. He's mainly just a little car unlocker. Sorry, not little. He's mainly just a car unlocker, but due to some contacts in advertising, he's always been able to do these humongous, you know, ads, because he had parents that were involved with a certain yellow book company. And that's pretty much how he made his thing. And I'm surprised he hasn't been run out of town, but he is still around. And he, you know, instead of doing what I did, I looked at the customer and I said, "You need to pay us both." And he was like, "Well, I'm only paying this guy because he's cheaper." And I looked at the guy and I was like, "We don't need to do anything until this guy clears up this matter." And he's like, "Fuck you, I'm going to do this one." And he just kept on working. And I was like, "You know what, fuck you." So I was like, took a picture of the dude and the tag, and the guy like actually put his hand down like he was, you know, gonna like try to whatever gangbang or something with me on because he was acting like he was reaching for a gun when I caught an attitude with him. And basically I told the other locksmith that he was a piece of shit and left. And on hindsight, I probably could have screwed him as well as me by telling the guy how much was he charging. And if he would have said X amount of dollars, I would say, "You know what, I'm going to do it for free." And that would have made, you know, in that customer's mind, that would have screwed us both out of the money. But anyway, I laughed. It wasn't worth my time or trouble. But that's just one story on foot racing. Not getting verification that those people are going to be there. We're very clear when we get credit cards over the phone that, you know, they're going to be charged unless they cancel within a X amount of time. But if we're already on the road, or we're very close to there and they decide to cancel, or we get there and they're not there. And of course, we have not had that major issue. We also get a lot of turn downs on auto calls, which is fine with me. I had my decades of unlocking cars. I'm more residential commercial now, as y'all probably noticed. But I don't foot race other locksmiths. I could care less. I'm not going to go waste my time to go somewhere when somebody calls multiple people. So if you're a consumer watching this, unless you regularly call 5 different pizza places or, you know, food delivery places to get food, and whoever gets there first wins, don't do it to a locksmith company. It's rude. It's wasting our time, even though you probably don't care about it because you were selfish enough to call all these other people. But if you're a locksmith company, I highly advise you to secure a credit card payment prior to being dispatched. Some people won't like that. There will be people that if that ends up happening and you charge a card, they'll probably fight it. But it gets your point across. It hopefully will sink into their small minds that they shouldn't be doing stuff like that. And yes, I have gone off on some people who did that. We called them, they were like, "Oh," or I got to a job and they were like, "Oh, well, I decided to cancel." And at this point in my career, I just tell them to fuck off. sorry about my language, I'll probably bleep that out, but they're pieces of shit in my opinion. I don't care what kind of emergency you're in, you don't take advantage of multiple people just to satisfy your own needs as far as speed or whatever the case may be. So long story short, if you schedule appointments, always call before you come. I could have easily driven over to this job at 8:30 without calling. He could have been there, I could have done the job, I could have made the money, but it's a 50-50. Actually, it's kind of a 30-70, yeah. More than likely, 9 times out of 10, 8 times out of 10, if you go to a job without verifying the person's there, you're going to get burnt because they're not going to be there. They're going to have decided to cancel. They would have called somebody else. So, as a short PSA, I guess, always get the customer's phone number. Always call 15-20 minutes ahead of time before you head that way, and be careful out there, guys. So anyway, super short video. I'm trying to do some super short videos. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, let me know what your policies are. Again, I know it's hard getting in business, and you want to get that, those jobs as they come along. So you jump in your car, you try to get there as quick as possible, but just remember, if somebody else shows up at the same time, don't take advantage. The customer needs to be taught a lesson. And hopefully whatever other locksmith shows up with you, you can introduce yourself and be like, hey, we need to put a stop to these kind of people. We both need to say, we're not unlocking your car unless you pay this money. And, don't be an ass to your fellow locksmiths, even if you don't like your fellow locksmiths or have a rivalry or whatever the case may be. In this profession, it's very common. But moral of the story, call your appointments before you go out, verify that they're there so that you're not wasting your time and your resources. So anyway, that's it. Since I have apparently no early morning call this morning, I'm going to shift it to my next call that is a vacant. Come to find out, the address is not showing up. So I'm going to call the property management agency and find out get an address, please. Give me a right address. So anyway, I'm going to do that, get out in this. Hopefully it's not raining, it's just damp. So y'all have a great day, and catch you next video. Call before you go.